Hello again, everybody. Welcome once more to Powerline Weekly Video Ministry. This is Richard Ike, and we're on episode number 181. The title of today's message is The Female Champions of the Bible, Part 42. And today's subject is The Women Who Made Moses. The Women Who Made Moses. And there were 4 women involved in Moses becoming who he is. And I call them the unsung heroes. And each one of them deserves a message on their own, but this one is the introductory of these 4 women. As the saying goes, behind every great man is a woman. Usually it's assumed that it's his wife, but there are more women than that involved in Moses' life. But before I get to that, I have addendums. Now, addendum number 1. It happened that going through this quarantine thing, which is overhyped, grossly overhyped. It's a pandemic, something that was schemed and hatched in the global elitist nerds who control things from behind the scene, that want to birth their nerd world order. Don't call it new world order, the nerd world order, because they're all nerds. They plan things. And a friend of mine sent me an image of these epidemics that have happened from the past 400 years. First one was 1720, then the second was 1820, then 1920, now 2020. And they all having masks, wearing masks, the same thing that's going on today. And so the old history repeats itself every 100 years as an epidemic. I said, if you want to know what these folks in the secret societies that rule the world, what they plan, so you're looking at it right there. Look no further, that's the kind of stuff that the kind of plans they hatch. Every 100 years, there's some epidemic. And I'm finding out that this whole population reduction thing goes back to ancient Greece. Like Plato and Aristotle, they talked about how cutting out population, things like that. They've been toying with those concepts of how to cut down population with wars and disease and plagues and all that stuff. So I started to think, maybe even the Black Plague that hit Europe, maybe that was to reduce the population, because it did that. Maybe that was intentional. Who knows? Because the time it happened, there was the emperor was Byzantium, after Rome had broken up now, the Byzantine Empire. He was having trouble, civil unrest, and his throne was even threatened that he might be deposed and might get killed and all that stuff. And that's when the Black Plague broke out, and he saved him. I said, maybe, just maybe, it was a plot that was hatched. Who knows? The day of judgment, God will reveal all the secret things of man. Because Lord Jesus said there is nothing secret that will not be unveiled. That which part in the ear shall be proclaimed from the mountain tops. Now, the next thing that happened, when I went to the grocery store, I don't have a television. I threw out my television, so I don't know what's happening, what the rules and regulations are, all that stuff. After, so there is now a brainwashing machine. That this media, they are brainwashing. Brainwashing happens by repetition. I was telling a gentleman about brainwashing, and he got offended that I was insulting his intellect as an intelligent person that he can process. I said, the brainwashing got nothing to do with intellect. Intellect, that's left brain. Brainwashing works on the right brain. It controls emotion. That's the back door. You are not aware when you're being brainwashed, because it controls emotion. Emotion triggers you into action. So the brainwashing is to trigger you to take an action. So while you're on the left brain, you don't have one brain. There are 2 brains. They look like one, but there are two brains. They have separate functions. Left brain, intellect. Right brain, emotion. Brainwashing has not even interested in left brain. Right brain controls your emotion to kick you into action. Because you can think something, but you don't do it, because your right brain is not in agreement with your left brain. You know something is good, but you don't do it, because right brain that's controlling emotion is saying no. It's not agreement with your left brain. It's controlling logic. But you know something is wrong, and yet you do it. Why? Because your right brain is not cooperating with your left brain. I know it's wrong, but you're still doing it. The 2 sides of the brain. That's what's happening. So your intellect, that's front door. Motion, that's back door. Brainwashing goes through the back door. So you're not even paying attention. So you say, oh, I'm intelligent, I can process that. That's your pure victim for brainwashing because you're not emotionally on guard. You're not watching the back door. You're looking at the front door. You're not coming to the front, they're coming to the back. And it happens by repetitions. Like magnetizing a nail. Take a nail, rub magnet, it becomes magnetic. But it doesn't match, you have to keep doing it. So when I saw TV, repetition, I said, this is brainwashing. I know this strategy. Listen away, because you're not going to be aware when it's happening. It will start to change your behavior, and you're not even aware. Some outside force is influencing you. That's how powerful it is. And the media are masters of it. Found out that they were taught these things by the CIA way back like in the 50s called the Operation Mockingbird. The entertainment industry, media and entertainment, they were taught this thing. And at that time it was to make the people more patriotic, brainwashing them into being patriotic. Now it's being deployed for other agendas and sinister motives. That's what makes it dangerous. Like they have been weaponized with it and they know how to deploy it. So I'm cautious when I see things. It's like I don't want anything going to the back door of my mind without me knowing. So they'll be like, as I finish some things, like, I know how this thing works. Like, throw this away. So I live in peace. The fear that they are charging the atmosphere with, I don't have it. No. I know. My mother taught me science. I wish people knew science now. Start learning science because they're too ignorant of science. They know technology, don't know science, and it's being weaponized. The ignorance of science being weaponized against society. That's why they're having you wear masks and stand 6 feet apart. It's one or the other. It's wear masks, then you're fine. Either you're standing 6 feet apart, social distancing, then you're fine. Anybody has a code, you distance yourself. If you're wearing masks, you're fine. If you're distance, you're fine. To do the both, the combination, for something that the flu is even killing more than. I said that's overdoing it. Lack of knowledge of science is why they're fooling people like this. So I went to the grocery store. I walked through, they didn't tell me anything. After I got my grocery, I went to the check counter. The guy was behind a plastic screen, and when the mask, so do you have a mask? I said, I forgot I didn't bring, I used to have a mask. I have a mask in my bag, I didn't carry my bag. So I said, oh, I can't do, I can't do any business with you unless you have a mask. I said, oh, how come he didn't tell me at the door? He said, how did you get in? I said, I walked in the door, he didn't stop me. No, he didn't stop me, so I can't do it. Okay, I'm here now. What? Why didn't he stop me? Okay, I'm here now. So I can't do anything. I can't do business with you without me. Are you serious? Okay, well, so I'm already here. Okay, I can come. And he refused. Called the management. They came. So how did you get it? I walked through the door. He didn't stop me. Nothing. And he refused. I said, but I'm already here now. It's okay. I can't do business with you unless you have a mask. And the guy started, after a while, he decided to take my groceries off. Rather, in the not so distant past, I would have exploded on that spot. I would have unleashed super hyper rage, and it would be like going from David Banner to the Incredible Hulk in the blink of an eye, 0 to 60 in the snap of a finger. I didn't feel the volcano rising because it usually happens instantaneously. I was moving. I said, I'm waiting for the thing to charge. Like I'm not losing that righteous indignation, that wrath of God. It's not coming. It's like, okay, I think I've matured emotionally. Other that is the grace of God holding me down. Because by now, the grenade, that putting the thing on the ground, that action, taking my growth, yes, I would have exploded. My voice would have gone so terrifyingly loud. They would have heard it from all four corners of the grocery store. People outside would have even started commenting, what is going on here? I'm not exploding. Like, I was feeling not upset, but I wasn't losing it. Waiting for that. The Hulk didn't want to come out. Like, I think something has happened. Either the grace of God is holding me down, or I've emotionally matured. Because by now, I would have already flipped to the Incredible Hulk. And guys was into cartoon. So they had tried anything. They wouldn't have been able to contain me. The management, they would have had to call the police. I've gone explosion. They even have plastic system. I have hit it and shot at it. There's no rise. Like, what has happened? And I look at if you had done it, that you would have gone up and down. I've lifted him up, presented him to God, and then cast him down like Lucifer. What happened? I started walking up. And then one of the employees said, okay, he had a mask on me. Go try this one. I said, no, 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 it's okay. And they were talking to the guy. I said, hey, you haven't done anything wrong. I said, oh, we have a mask. I said, no. I said, I'm already upset. Because I don't want to go back now. Because now that I have this thing controlled, if I go back, the man will say that I put something in his mouth. Then he pulls the pin, and then I lose it. So I said, now that I have it under control, let me just carry myself and go. So I just said, I'm never going to come back. So I never go there anyway. But I thought about it. I said, They said, they won't do business. They won't can't transact with me unless I have a mask. I said, So the elite are practicing. Now they won't do business with you unless you have a mask. But they are practicing for when they say, we cannot do business with you unless you have the mark of the beast. I said, They're having their practice session. This whole thing was planned and scheduled. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be in power when this happened. That's why they are still losing their mind over Trump. Because this was supposed to hand them their new world order. On a bed of chaos, they create chaos, and then they come to show themselves, they present themselves as the solution. Because this is how nerds operate. They know the weaknesses of humanity, but they don't know the strengths. That's the reason why they have, one of the reasons why they had failed in, on sitting Trump, where they felt that they didn't put Hillary in power. And how come they have not frustrated Trump? And how come they haven't created the chaos that they want? Because they know human weakness, but they don't know human strength. The media which they own, pumping fear. But the people are still calm. Why? Because they don't understand how the strength of humanity works. They just know weakness. What is the strength of humanity? I explained it before. It starts with the leadership. If the man on top is calm, that oil and ounce of calmness is going to flow down. Doesn't matter. The media are not the leaders. They just appointed themselves. Nobody appointed them. But the one that the people appointed, they look to him. He's a shepherd. If he's calm, then everybody else will be calm. And if America is calm, the rest of the planet will be calm. If he starts to panic, America will start to panic. Once America panics, the entire planet goes berserk. That's how that works. They know weaknesses, but they don't know strength. The dynamics of the strength of humanity is unknown to them, because they're always looking for weakness, how to explode, how to create chaos. And when people are panicking, everybody starts coming out, all the nerds start coming out to be a solution. Bill Gates with his vaccine or other stuff. Human beings are not attracted to weakness. No, they are attracted to strength. They see strength. You don't have, it's like a magnet to them. Weakness, they flee from. That's why you don't see people like Bill Gates as leaders of any they won't win any election. You can't, they're too weak and look frail. Don't look like he's ever been in a fight in his whole life. Doesn't look like that. But you see a Trump, you know the man is a fighter. Just his physique. You know these guys, he's tough. Not only looks tough, the personality, he's packaged, and people are drawn to that. So they look to the strong man. Even the ones who don't like him, they still respect his strength. They know he's strong. He's so strong, they made Nancy Pelosi a drunk. She can't handle him. She's a nerd. So now, the things that they have planned, it's written in their documents. I've read this. People don't go read this stuff because it's boring to them. But these are plans they have. If they know people not going to go read it. But I also want to know I know their mind how they think. So I read those stuff. They wrote it. It was 2010, the Rockefeller Foundation, describing this whole scenario happening now, 10 years ago. And what was puzzling is that they plan on putting restrictions, use this crisis to put restrictions. After the crisis is gone, they plan on maintaining the restrictions. So the spacing 6 feet apart, they want to keep it, they want to keep all these things. And they always present it as for the good of the people. Goes back to Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler, Nazi goons. They were always presenting themselves as doing things for the good of the people. I mentioned that the hybrid beast that came out of the ocean, the body of leopard, feet of a bear, head of a lion, is a hybrid system of governments. You have some capitalism, some Nazism, some communism, some fascism, just whatever they can get, whatever they pick parts and put them together. They have a Frankenstein system. So it is predicated upon the people to fight for their liberty, because these forces, they cannot relate to the nice. They cannot relate to regular humanity, because humans reject people, society, the world rejected them. They didn't fit in. So that they mass wealth and fortune and all that stuff. Now they want to revenge, want to rule you, dominate you, and enslave you, make you feel the way you made them feel when they were nothing, nobody, and young, and impressionable, and they don't get invited to anything, they don't get invited to the party, they just know how you make them feel. Now we want to revenge. That's what's driving them. So they want to obsess with controlling ruling people. All the people I to see, they're not. They reject. That's it. The elitism is what they felt forming from the world, that they were the outside. The world treated them like it was the elite, and then they didn't fit in. So now they have got together. Now they have that elitism mastery, and they're treating the world like that. They're rejecting the world the way the world rejected them. They want to take revenge. So you didn't want us. Now you're forced back that to us. That's what is going on. So other people protest, people are going to protest. But one thing that they fear, and it's based on their history, based on what they've seen, they learn from the past. They fear the unity of the people. Because when the people unite, that's when they toppled. It happened French Revolution. If the royalty knew that the people getting together was going to topple them, they would have treated them differently. But they didn't know, so the people toppled them, had them beheaded, put them in guillotine, chop off their head. You thought it was only the Muslims that were beheaded. Europe, England, France, they used to behead in the past. They even invented a machine to do the job, to make it because whites are inventors, they are engineers, created a machine, put their head, lock it, so they realize, as long as they keep the people divided, they cannot unite against them that way. So they have to do everything to keep people fighting. Republican, Democrat, genders against the male and female, class warfare, whatever, keep them divided so they will not have a revolution. But whenever there's crisis, that's when people tend to unite because they're in the same situation. So to receive your liberties back, they have to be opposed. Unfortunately, that's how it works. However, they have another formula to deal with those oppositions because they know human beings, they gravitate under a leader. So they deploy the strategy of from the Bible. The shepherd and the sheep will scatter. So they always look for the leaders. Once you take out the leader, then there is movement. So whenever you're going to go up against this elite globalist establishment, they cannot be a leader of the movement, and everybody has to be a unit, but working together as one body. Because if there's a leader, everybody's one. They just take out that leader, and that's it. Everything moves over. I've watched the pattern because they're looking for weakness. I said, I saw the pattern. They're using that biblical strategy. It's like the shepherd and sheep will scatter. So you have any movement, you have a leader, they just take out the leader. That's it. It's gone. So that's it. You can't have any leader. Everybody had to have a singleness of heart and action. So if you lose one, then continue. But unfortunately, it has to be by opposition. They don't want to, whatever liberties they take, they don't want to give back. That's nerd mentality. You have to take it back. The spirit of America's Christianity, the beginning, where you had black coat regiment of preachers, Bible on one hand, God on the other hand. That's how America's liberty was acquired. Not the passive type of Christianity that later on came from John, the Lutherans and all that stuff. They brought the passive Christianity. That's not America's original Christianity. America's original Christianity was the warrior type Christianity. The lion roared. That's America got its liberty from England. If not, it would still be British flag flying over America. That spirit has to rise. It's still in the US military. They still have that spirit of the original Christianity, the warrior Christianity is in the military, but it's not in the churches. No, they receive the passive Christianity. That's what will bring back liberty. However, concerning these globalists, they are running ahead of schedule. Lord revealed to me, Minister, listen to me. That what they are trying to do, he was going to frustrate their effort because he's still suffering, he's still handling his business. So he continued to frustrate their efforts. Like Trump, that was a frustration of their effort. However, they want chaos in order to bring in their system. He himself, the Lord, will deliver that chaos. And that's when this thing called the rapture happens. When millions of people around the world disappear, the whole world will lose this man. The planet will become an asylum. They will lose it completely. And that's when they will have the platform to now bring in their new world order without opposition. The people will just look for anything that will give them a sense of security, because people will lose their mind. It will come with ease. People will even be longing for it. But he, the Lord, will do it, and it will be a judgment on the earth. However, They think they'll be exempt. They think they will hide in their bunkers and all that. It will start that way, but Lord, his judgment will come upon them too. They want to cut down the Earth's population to 500 million. It's written on Joshua Guidestone. Lord Jesus said, if it was possible, if those days were not cut short, that no life will survive. So even they themselves will not escape when God's judgment comes. But it will start as them being in power, not knowing that they too are under God's judgment. The earth will be under God's judgment. He will bring it to power. The chaos they are looking for, they cannot get it. They cannot. With this whole thing, they didn't get the chaos. People are still calm. They're in their home, but they're calm. Calm in their home over something the scientists have said sunlight destroys. Why are they having you in your house when the scientists have said sunlight destroys it? The coronavirus. Mm-hmm. That's brainwashing right there. People believe media dummies over medical doctor PhD hanging on to war 7 years. PhD hanging on to war is journalists talking rubbish convincingly. That's brainwashing. Mm-hmm. The Lord is going to deliver it. But until then, you frustrate their efforts. See, their God, Lucifer makes a lot of noise, makes them think he's in charge. But he acts by permission. If God doesn't permit it, he cannot operate. We saw in the book of Job. God brought up Job. Hey, Lucifer, I consider myself and Job. Hey, don't you have a hedge around it? Why didn't he say, I'm going to remove that hedge myself? He said, don't you have a hedge around it? Remove the hedge, and then no. And then if I touch him, he's going to curse you. He didn't say, I'm going to remove that hedge and put it onto you. He had to act by permission. Okay, go ahead, touch his property, but don't touch him. He stayed within his boundaries. Round 2. So, okay, touch his body, but don't take his life. He did it. He doesn't go outside of boundaries. If not, you meet the lion. The Lord, when you're negotiating, is on lamb mode. You cross the line, you meet the lion. Mm-hmm. Anyway, now let me get into the message. Not a whole lot of time with this. Now, there are 4 women in the life of Moses. Mm-hmm. And we begin this journey of exploring these women in Exodus chapter 2. Now, the backstory after chapter 1, the children of Israel began to multiply. They emerged a Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph or what he had done and all that stuff. Joseph's history. No, even within one generation, history can be forgotten. So I don't know how many generations this is, but this Pharaoh didn't know about Joseph, so he wasn't properly educated for a Pharaoh. All he saw was the children of Israel multiplying, and they were large in number. And he said, if there was an enemy, they could join forces with the enemy and defeat us. That's what he used to ask about the Democrats, but they were so anti-American. So if there's an enemy, whose side would they be on? Now they've shown that they're on the side of the Democrats are on the side of the enemy. So this was the situation. So this Pharaoh was looking at it, okay, whose side would they be on if we had enemies? There are so many of them. Mm-hmm. So let's reduce their number. Let's put them in slave into bondage and reduce their number. But it's like multiplying more. Why? Because when people are in distress, they seek pleasure even more. And what's greater pleasure than pleasure in bed? And what happens out of that? They start to multiply. Children start coming out of that. So they came up with another solution, a new and deadly solution. This was now when abortion was formally introduced. So then midwives start killing the baby, the boys, the men. But the midwives fear God and will not obey. Which is an example for us, because Peter gave credence to this in the book of Acts when they told them not to preach about the Lord Jesus again. And they went out right away side preaching. They said men should obey God rather than man. But the women, they feared God and they would not carry out the command of the king. And when the king asked them why, I said, the midwives, they are strong women. By the time we get there, they already came back to their children. So now gave command to his people. Oh, if the midwives cannot do it, he told his people, whenever they see a male child, the children of Israel, kill the child, casting the children into the river Nile. So now we arrive at chapter 2. And it says, and there was a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him for 3 months. In the midst of this situation, and then when the man of the house of Levi, that's the priestly tribe, and took to wife a daughter of Levi, married from his own tribe, the priest's tribe, Levi. And the woman conceived a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. What does it mean that he was a goodly child? When something is goodly, that means when you see it, you feel something. When there's a goodly child, you see all the children, but there's one this thing. You see, there's something about this one. This one is different from the rest. So it was a goodly child. So I said, this child, there's something unique about, something different about him. So she hid them. Maybe some might have been giving up their children. Or however, whatever happened, she hid him for 3 months. She had maybe when she wants to go to market, she will put him in her well big cloak and put a baby in his mouth so he doesn't cry, whatever, and she go to buy food. But as he was growing in 3 months, growing is like, they're going to notice I have something. Pretty soon they start asking questions or something like that. When she couldn't hide him, she hid him for 2 months. When she couldn't hide him any longer, they said, trouble might come out. So in verse 3 says, and when she could no longer hide him, wow, this is getting babies grow quickly. She took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. When I saw this, I've heard many messages on this part. But then, by the eyes of revelation, I looked at this part that the Spirit of God ministered to me. I read it. When she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed him with slime and with pitch and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river brink. I said, When Moses introduced the Lord to the children of Israel, he said, the God of your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This woman earned herself in the hall of faith in Hebrews 11 because of her acts concerning Moses at his birth. What is it? What was it about this whole scenario that was extraordinary? She put her baby in an ark, not knowing what was going to happen to him. I said, this sounds familiar. And the Lord brought to my memory Noah. I said, hey, this was a fight seasoned by knowledge. She was invoking not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She went beyond that because they knew the stories. So she went back to the God of Noah. And the ark, I said, she's reenacting the rescue sequence of Genesis chapter 6, where God told Noah to build an ark to save himself, his family, and the animal from the flood. I said, she's invoking and activating the God of Noah. As God saved Noah from that big thing, God will do the small thing. See, the woman earned her place in the hall of faith. Hebrews 11, that's the hall of faith. So I said, so she's reenacting Noah. So Moses now was like Noah, and to build a miniature reenactment of what God did in Genesis chapter 6. They were closer to the stories then. Now we're thousands of years separated. Back then they were not. So this is the first woman, the woman that launched him. So the woman, the great man that we talk about, behind every great man is a behind every great man is a woman. The first woman in his life is the mother. We always attribute it to the wife. But the first woman is the mother, the one that conceived him. Lord Jesus said that he came through the gates, the good shepherd. They came through the gate. Others that came before him are thieves and robbers, referring to demons, how they want to possess bodies and steal bodies and all that stuff. But him, he came with a body of his own. The gateway to the physical universe is the womb of the woman. He came to the gate, the womb of a woman, with his own body, his earth suit. There's space suit and there's earth suit. In order to enter this three-dimensional universe, you need to come to the gate, which is the womb of the woman. He came to the gate. That's the first important woman. That's the first person in the man's journey to greatness. The first woman that is responsible for his greatness is the one that conceived him, gave birth to him, and brought him to the world. Because nobody gave birth to themselves. He had to come through. The woman's womb is the factory where the earth suit is manufactured. So this is the woman that was responsible for his emergence on the earth. Because she could have already been killed. And that would be the end of the story. Now, we're introduced to the second woman. This is the first woman, the mother, acting on knowledge of the God who saved Noah through an ark. She is reenacting the whole thing. So now, a faith seasoned by knowledge. And the second female, in verse 3, now says, and his sister stood afar off to wait. And his sister stood afar off to wait what would be done to him. This is the sister who later learned is Miriam. She now wants to see that God whom the parents have been telling her about. She wants to see that God in action. The mother is acting on her faith, where she must have had that experience with God and has knowledge of the things that God has done, so it's triggering her action. But the young child is now curious. I've heard about this God, let me see him in action. She acted like a catalyst. The catalyst, I remember in chemistry class, it's a substance that speeds up a reaction but don't take part in the reaction. So she's a catalyst. She's going to speed up the reaction that will take place now. But before that, she reminds me of somebody, a young Ethiopian gentleman who had an Ethiopian restaurant. At the time I was going to an Ethiopian church. And in the conversation, he said that no, he's known about the testimonies of his parents, how God had done things in life, and he doesn't have those testimonies. He wants to have his own testimonies. I said, he had made he has an honorable request of God, and the Lord will grant him that request, because he's basically saying that until now he's known God as the God of his fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But he hasn't known him as his own God. It takes your own personal experience for you to know the Lord as your God. So he wants his own testimony. He doesn't want to live by the testimonies of his parents. Oh, God did this for my parents. God did that. They told me this. They told me that. He wants to have his own. I say it's an honorable request, and God will grant it. Because those things catch God's attention. He said, I wasn't possible. I said, no, usually young people, they don't, they're fine. But he's heard his parents' testimony. He wants his own. I said, God, that honor his request. So you want to know him as your God. You don't longer want to know him as the God of your parents, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac. That's how Moses introduced God to the children of Israel. The God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me. Didn't say your God, say the God of your father, because they don't know him as their God until he started performing miracles for the children of Israel. Then they knew him as their God. But before that, it was the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So now, the young girl Miriam is in that position. She doesn't have that faith of the mother because she's young and she hasn't seen that. She knows the stories. The Hebrews, they carry the story, their genealogy, the stories of the past. They are good at passing on the stories. They recite the stories and stuff like that. So she would have known the stories. The Jewish girl should have known the stories. But she hadn't experienced it. She was about to. So as she was watching, that's the way she was standing and watching. Because she wants to see what's going to happen. Wants to see the action. And then she'll have testimony for the rest of her life. Another way, God moved. And who was to show up? Anybody could have showed up. An Egyptian could have shown up and seen the eyes, one of the babies, taking out the baby and drowning. So the mother took a chance. But God responded. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. With Miriam, young girl, watching. She knew she wasn't dumb. She knew, the daughter of Pharaoh, probably seen the daughter of Pharaoh, the father, the possession, all that stuff. So she's watching to see what's going to happen. Would it be mercy or death for the baby brother who's in the basket? She couldn't do anything. She just completely helpless. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. And her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. So something said, that's how Moses, he saw the burning bush and he caught his attention and he went to it. So before that, Pharaoh's daughter saw the ark and he caught her attention. She sent the maids to go and get it. Go and get that thing. What is that thing? I'll bring it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. What happened? He was comfortable in the darkness of the ark. As soon as they opened it, the sunlight hit his eye. She saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him. Why? Because he was a goodly child. That's the foundation that was laid. It was a goodly child. So when something is goodly, you see it and you feel something. It was an ugly child, and she saw it. Hey, take that away from me. Take it away. Put it back in the water. Hey, take that away from me. But it was a goodly child. When she saw it, she felt something. Compassion, because it was a goodly child. And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And I wondered, how did this enter into her mind to ask Pharaoh's daughter? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go, and the maid went and called the child's mother. I said, the whole interaction said, how did it enter into her mind to ask her that question? And why didn't Pharaoh's daughter say, who are you? Where did you come from? What are you doing there? I said, it seemed like she read what was in Pharaoh's daughter's heart. Because later on in the future we found out Miriam, she became a prophetess. And that's one of the things that prophets do. They can read the hearts of men. That's one of the mysteries. God revealed to them the things that are the hearts of men. As she was showing the signs right here. I remember my mother didn't know these biblical principles. When I was young, I told my mother one time, I said, how come sometimes I can tell some things that are going to happen before they happen? I'll think of a red Mercedes and I'll turn, and boom, the red Mercedes passes. And I'm wondering, did I think of it first before I saw it, or did I see that think about it? I'm arguing with myself. But my mother, she taught me science. She said, oh, it's called ESP, extrasensory perception. That's science interpretation for what it doesn't understand. So that's what I took out. I took it, okay, extrasensory perception. I have ESP. I didn't know it was a call to the prophetic ministry. Because prophetic ministry, the two legs are dreams and vision. Those are two legs the prophetic ministry stands on. Dreams and vision. So she said, just give me a scientific term. Oh, it's called ESP, extrasensory perception. If she was knowledgeable in the things of God, she would have told me, oh, that means you're being called into the prophetic ministry. But she didn't know those things. So just say ESP. So I would say, the whole interaction, I said, it seems that this girl read the heart of Pharaoh's daughter, what she was thinking at that moment, what was in her heart. God revealed to her what was in her heart. Because later on, Miriam turns out, oh, she grew up to become a prophetess. She was disputing the signs, showing the signs right there. And Pharaoh's daughter said, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. What's the mark? And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child. And Pharaoh's daughter said, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. God gave her a reward for her act of faith. The Bible says that no one can come to God unless they believe he exists, and he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. He's a God that rewards. Hey, she acted on faith, and she not only got the child back from the daughter of Pharaoh, which means nobody can mess with her. Now she's getting wages, paid wages to take care of her own child. Those are mesmerizing, miraculous solutions that God brings about. Now, this scenario that preceded this whole drama he playing out was replicated when the Lord Jesus was born. Herod gave order to kill the children. Herod was trying to get the Lord Jesus. Gave order to kill the children. And what happened? The angel told Joseph to take the child to Egypt. I said, okay, why Egypt? Then the Lord now opened my eyes to see that spirit that was on Herod, its origin was Egypt. And I remembered his formula of bringing the solution out of the problem. When David had committed adultery with Bathsheba, he unleashed the sword upon himself. That was the problem. Now God brought Solomon out of that union. Solution. Solomon was the most powerful king of Israel, the wealthiest and wisest man in the world, and built the temple of God. Brought the solution out of the problem. We see that over and over again. How God works this thing. When the Apostle Paul said the powers of darkness that time, they will not have crucified the Lord. When the powers of darkness crucified the Lord, it was a problem. After that problem brought solution. Salvation unto mankind. When the Lord Jesus resurrected, brought salvation unto mankind. So that's the formula that the Lord deployed here. The problem, that spirit came from Egypt, landed on Herod, and executed what it had done thousands of years ago when they tried to eliminate the child of destiny. Now trying to do that a second time. God took Lord Jesus, had Joseph take Lord Jesus to Egypt, where the problem is. The Bible says so that the prophecy will be fulfilled. From Egypt I brought out my son. Why? Because the problem was coming from Egypt. From Egypt. Joseph took Lord Jesus to Egypt, where the problem came from, and from there brought out the solution. The Savior of mankind. The spirit came from that abortion had birth spirit that is now residing in the Democratic Party. All these demonic democratic politicians that saying you can commit abortion when the baby is born. That's the spirit of Pharaoh. But Lord was bringing the solution out of the problem. The same way, the same thing that he did with Joseph. It was Egypt that was the problem. Joseph was taken as a slave to Egypt, but from there God brought out the solution, made Joseph prime minister of Egypt. That's what God executed. So now that's the same thing that was playing out. Pharaoh was a problem, trying to kill Moses, the child of destiny. In Pharaoh's household, the solution was raised. Moses, the daughter picked up Moses. Well, for the amount of time, I have to continue from next week. I'm saying my closing prayer. Oh, great God, Almighty King Jehovah, I thank you for this word that has come forth. I pray that it finds in what they had, be planted as seed, and then bring forth fruit, and the fruit shall remain. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Blessed be God now forevermore. Love you. God just loves you. I'll see you next week.